What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another lesson. In today's lesson, we're going to be taking a look at Find a Love by the band Feel. At this point, I believe it's tomorrow, they're releasing their debut EP, which I'm very, very excited for. And if you're seeing this video after the date of, October 25th, then I would highly recommend going and checking out their EP. Watch their music videos. They've got one for Goodbye Virginia so far. And I believe, based on what I'd seen behind the scenes on their stories and stuff, they've got more on the way. So if you're seeing this in the future, check out their music videos, check out their EP. They're awesome stuff, really great guys. And I'm very stoked to be teaching and covering their material here. So today's lesson is going to be Find a Love. If you haven't seen it already, I've already got a lesson for one other song on YouTube, In the Garden. I don't know why I had brain fog there. Their song In the Garden, there's a lesson there for that. That is a full lesson. And with this, I'm going to be posting half the lesson here on YouTube, and the full lesson will be on my Patreon. So please beware that the full thing won't be on YouTube. It's just to support the creator a little bit more in the amount of time that I put into these videos so that I can continue to make the quality and everything better for you guys as we continue to move forward. So full thing on Patreon, I'll leave it linked down below, and I appreciate your guys' support. Without any further ado, let's get right into it. Tuning here is standard tuning, so E through E. I'm using my custom built SG here. It's got Seymour Duncan 59s, which essentially are modeled after the 59 PAFs from Les Paul's Seymour Duncan's version of the PAF, essentially. And they're great. I use it on my bridge position for the most part here, but there is some switching between bridge and middle, so beware of that as well. For the amp that I'm using and the pedals, I'm using the Universal Audio Lion 68 Super Lead amp modeling pedal. It's a mouthful to say, I know, but it's very worth saying the mouthful because of how good it is. And so it's a modeling pedal, amp modeling pedal. So it essentially replaces your amp and acts as your amp on your board without needing a tube amp, nothing. And it emulates the plexis. So the setting that I've got it on is a Super Lead head, and the amp cab that I've got is a 4x12 JBGB combo. And so there's 6 different amp cabinets and 3 different amp heads, the brown, the super bass, and the super lead. And so you can choose from those. And then I've got it set super lead and JBGB. So funny one to say. Anyways, let's get right into it. The main riff going here is... And you'll hear a little bit of bleed coming through because I had to turn up the compression on my microphone here. Otherwise, my vocals aren't, or my speaking isn't loud enough in the video. So yeah, it's nothing super, super crazy, but very tasteful. So you're going to start on your open D string, and then you're going to hammer on your 2nd fret and pull off. And then 3rd fret A string, and then your open A. And on the upstroke, you're going to pluck the 2nd fret D and G. And the A string in there too. So this next little lick here, open D, hammer on, pull off, quicker this time on the 2nd fret of your D. And then to your 3rd fret A string. And then open A. So the first time is kind of a slowed down version. The second time is sped up. And then the third time. And then the 4th time is sped up. So it's kind of slow down, sped up, slow down, sped up. And then on the 4th time, so... So it goes up to this tension chord up here. So 9th fret G string, 8th fret B, and 9th fret E. And my picking there is down, up, down, up, down, and then a slide. And maybe there isn't a slide, but there's a little bit of one. And that's where you go to your middle pickup. So essentially that riff just repeats itself after, you know, the initial intro and this tension chord. And then it goes back into the riff, and then it gets into your verse part, which is what I will cover here next. But before you get to that, make sure you get this part down, at least slowly, like get it down smooth so that you can play through the riff cohesively before moving on. Because then once you move on, it'll make it easier to get into the next part, and then you just build, and then the whole song comes together much quicker rather than having a lot of sloppy parts or parts that you're struggling with as you go through it. So that's your intro, and that's your main riff. I'll see you in the next clip. So here we're going to go into the verse, which has some difficult parts. And I think the most difficult part of this verse is actually the switch change, because it's so quick. And I know I've watched some live videos of Tyler doing it on stage, and it's again very quick because it happens so literally within the verse, like the change into the verse right there. So quick little down, pull up, and then you're right back into it. Like there's not really much time. There's maybe 1 second to do it. So yeah, going into the verse, that is the hardest part. The rest of the verse is not super difficult. It's actually quite fun to play. So let's take a look at it. So these first two chords here are, the first one is, if any of you guys are fans of Greta Van Fleet, it's the same chord that they use in When the Curtain Falls. Same chord. So bar, 3rd fret, A string down, and then 5th fret, D, and 5th fret, G. Cool chord, hey? Now the next one is a barred D major chord. So 5th fret barred A string down, and then 7th fret D, 7th fret G, 7th fret B. So, and here's where the switch change happens. So, switch. So you see how fast that is. It's a switch right back into playing. So after you switch, you're gonna kind of readjust your positioning so that your open D string is playing, and then you're barring your G string 7th fret and your B string 7th fret. So this is how you're gonna play this part. So 3rd finger barred, 7th fret, G and B, and then open D. Don't forget about the open D. 5th fret, G and B. So 1, 2. So downstroke here and down up here. So after you go down up on the 5th fret of G and B, you're going to go back to 7th on the G and B. And of course your D string is in there as well. Now you're going to slide up to 11th fret G, 10th fret B, and it'll be down, up, down. And then slide down, 9th fret G and 8th fret B. And then slide down once more, 7th fret G and B. So that same picking pattern all the way down. So full speed. Now this getting into the second time here is a little bit different from getting into it the first time. So Actually, no, it's not. Yeah, so it just repeats itself twice. What am I talking about? So you just kind of let that D string ring out a little bit. So that's that part of the riff. Now, and here's another switch. So this is, again, a difficult part. And even I screwed it up there. Switch. So literally right after your second time through this riff, switch A power chord. So A power chord is pretty self-explanatory. Open A, 2nd fret D, 2nd fret G. Now your next chord is going to be 4th fret D and 2nd fret G. So your first finger stays where it was, and then your third finger just comes in on that 4th fret. And there I'm just doing 3 muted downstrokes. And you can almost palm mute your A string there as well if you'd like. It's a little bit better sounding than just... So after your 3 muted strokes, you're going to have your pinky come down on the 5th fret of the D string, and your first finger is still rooted on that 2nd fret of your G string. So it'll be 1, 2, 1. So 2 strokes on the 5th fret of your D and your 2nd fret G. And then your third finger goes back down on the 4th fret of your D string. And you play that chord again. So. And then you go back into your alternate lick, which we were just looking at. So your chords again. And then it leads into the pre-chorus. So again, this is another part where you want to try and get that part down before moving on. So to this point, you should have the main riff, the intro riff, and the verse parts down fluently together. So you've kind of stitched them together. And even if it's at a slow speed, say half speed, you know. And you should be able to do all of that relatively seamlessly before moving on to this next part. So the last part of this YouTube video will be the pre-chorus and kind of leading into what the chorus is. And then the rest of it, as I said, will be on Patreon. So stay tuned for that in the next clip here. Now, before we move on to the pre-chorus section here, I just want to clarify from the last clip that the part, this A power chord part, that only happens one time. So I believe I played it as if it happens twice. It doesn't. So you've got your first time. And then you go to this. And then the second time. So after the second time going to that middle position lick, when you go out of it, it goes into the pre-chorus. So it's not a fully square verse, if you will. Like there's three sections to it rather than 4. And that's how I played it in the last clip. So that A power chord section only happens once, just to keep it simple. And then the second time coming out of your middle position riff, you're going to go into your pre-chorus. So it'll be a G power chord, 3rd fret E string, 5th fret A and D. So twice on the G power chord, and then slide 5th to 7th on the E string with your 3rd finger, 5th fret A, 5th fret E, or 7th fret E, sorry. And then you're going to play your D power, or your D major chord, which we had played earlier. So barring your 5th fret and then 7th fret D, G, and B. So 5th fret A, 7th fret D, G, B. So you get to your D power, or your D major chord. And you hold it. And then you slide up 2 frets, same position. Now this next part, you're going to move your barred position with your 1st finger up to the 9th fret, the D string down. So still that E major chord position, just with a different finger and missing the root note. So you're here, 9th fret. So. So you're not actually going to play it when you move to just the 9th fret when you move to this position. That'll be your anchor point. And so you'll bar the 9th fret D, G, B, and then your 3rd finger is going to go on your 11th fret of your D string, and your 2nd finger will go on the 10th of your B. So you'll play that position twice, and then pull off your 2nd and 3rd finger. Now you're going to play that bar, and then put them back on, and then off. So 1, 2, 1, 1. That's how you end that off. So all together, slowly. 3, 4. And now you go back down to your G power chord. And this time, the riff changes a little bit. So the first time you did, and the second time now, instead of going to your 7th fret on the E string, you're going to your 7th fret on the A string. So slide, 5th to 7th E, 5th A, and then 7th A. And then you go to your D chord. And then again you go up to your E chord. And that part is the same. So really the only thing that's different the second time through is the, and then, now the third time is where it really gets different. So it starts off the same as the second time with the G power chord and that alternate 5th to 7 on A instead of 5A, 7E. And then you go to your D chord just like you did before. And now your E chord is an octave down from where it was before. So here is the octave up. Sounds higher, hence octave up. Octave down sounds lower. It's got a fatter sound to it because of the lower pitch. So here is just going to be your E major chord position. So open E, 2nd fret A and D, and 1st fret G. And you're only going to play those 4 strings. So don't play the full chord. So. So the chord, let it ring. Now this next part is 4th fret A string and 2nd fret D and G. So you'll hold that. And I'm barring the D and G with my 1st finger, and then my 3rd finger is hitting that 4th fret A. And then back to your E chord position. And here your pinky's just gonna come down on the 2nd fret of your G string. So, pinky, and then it comes off. So, that's your 3rd time through. Now the 4th time. So the 4th time is much quicker. It just happens in half the amount of time, I believe. So you go to your 3rd fret A string, 5th fret D and G. And it's the same position as your G power chord position, just 1 string down, everything. So, and you play that twice. Slide 5 to 7 on A, and then 5 on the D string, 7 on A. And here I'm playing a G major chord position, but I'm not playing the full chord. Again, I'm only playing the top 4 strings. So 3rd fret E string, 5th fret A and D, and 4th fret G. So, and it'll be down, up, up. And so that's where I'll leave it for the YouTube lesson here. As you heard, it just goes back into that main riff again. And so there are a few other parts to the song that kind of switch up, especially in the pre-chorus later on. It gets to some different stuff. So I'll be showing the full song on Patreon, as I said before. If you haven't already, please feel free to check out my band as well. We're called The Definitive. And we're available on all social media platforms, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, you name it. And we've also got our album out over, it's about a year and a few months old now. And we're working on some new stuff right now too that we're very excited about, hopefully sharing in the new year here. So please feel free to check us out. We're kind of a funk rock-esque band, if you will. I bring the classic rock licks in the guitar playing, but the drummer and the bass player, they bring a lot of funk aspect to the band, and our singer brings a lot of soul. So yeah, feel free to check us out if you're into that kind of stuff. We'd really appreciate it. I've also got an Instagram account if you're interested in following me, seeing what I'm up to on there. I also post some stuff related to the band on there as well. So yeah, I'd really appreciate the support. And if you're just sticking on YouTube, I appreciate you being here as well. Feel free to drop a like, leave a comment. And if you're not subscribed already, please do. It really helps the channel out. So till next time, guys, keep on rocking.